Hola, mijos. I have a story. Tonight's story is The Night Flight. Look at this. It's got an owl and a little boy with wings. And it looks like it's 10 till midnight. What do you think about that? Rue's upset because Jennifer's not home yet. So anyway, here's the story. Relax, close your eyes, and imagine you've gone to stay at an unfamiliar house. This story is about a little boy called Eli who was afraid of the dark. Unable to sleep, he tossed and turned in his bed until an adventure made him face his fear of things that go bump in the night. Let's listen to his story. Eli couldn't sleep at Grandma's house. The night was full of noises. Scratch. Was that a monster sharpening its claws? Creak. Was that an ogre opening the garden gate? Thud. What was that? Eli wanted to get out of bed and open the curtains to let in the moonlight. But it seemed so far across the strange dark room to the window. I'll count to three. I'll count to three, whispered Eli to himself. Then I'll make a dash for it. 1, 2. Eli didn't move. He closed his eyes again very tightly and wished he was at home. I'll count to 5 instead, he told himself. 1, 2. Eli shivered. This is hopeless. Oh, do hurry up, young man, said a mysterious voice at the window. Before Eli could even open his mouth to scream, a fluffy white owl swooshed the curtains open, swooped into the room, and perched at the end of the bed. The name's Albert, hooted the bird, standing in the moonlight. I gather you're having trouble sleeping. Well, yes, said Eli, gasping for words. Tut tut, we can't have that, said Albert, shaking his wings. What seems to be the problem? I don't know, Eli blushed. He didn't want to admit that he was afraid of the dark. Surely an owl would think that was absolutely ridiculous. But the wise old bird seemed to know everything already. I used to be afraid of the daylight, Albert hooted. Imagine that. Sunshine scared the feathers off of me. Daylight's not scary, laughed Eli. You can see what everything is in the daytime. Said Albert. Do you know how my mother cured me? She took me for a daytime flight, through the clouds and the sunshine. After that, I wasn't scared anymore. Perhaps if I could fly through the night, I wouldn't be afraid of the dark, joked Eli. Exactly. Albert swiveled his head right around so that he was looking straight into Eli's eyes. Why else do you think I've come? Eli pulled the duvet up. His mouth dropped open. I'm going to fly tonight? If you would just stop jabbering and get on with it, said Albert. I've never heard such a twit-twoo about anything. But Eli swung his legs out of bed. Even if I were brave enough to fly in the dark, which I'm not, it wouldn't work. I'm too big and heavy, he laughed. If I climb on your back, you'll never be able to take off and fly. Who said anything about climbing on my back? Albert sounded quite indignant, especially when you've got perfectly good wings of your own. Wings, said Eli, but even as he spoke, he felt it tingle in his arms like pins and needles. Bright white owl feathers burst through his pajama top. Instead of arms, he had a pair of mighty wings. Instead of fingers, feathers. Not bad, said Albert. Come on, we've got till the clock strikes midnight, then you'll be tucked up back here without a feather in sight. Before Eli could argue, Albert nudged him over the window sill and into the night sky. Wow! Cried Eli, swooping over the moonlit garden. Scratch! A branch scraped against the shed roof. Before, I thought that was the sound of a monster sharpening his claws, laughed Eli. The night wasn't scary at all now that he was out in it, and flying was brilliant. Eli learned to tilt his wings left or right to steer. A few strong flaps and he rose higher and higher, and then he could stretch out and glide. Over the village they flew. You're not doing badly, hooted Albert as they swooped along the empty high street. Race you around the steeple, cried Eli as they reached the churchyard. Just once, said Albert, his big eyes checking the church clock. It's nearly midnight. I need to get you home. As they flew back to Grandma's garden, Eli saw how small and snug the cottage looked nestled among the apple trees. There was nothing to be scared of here. Creak! The old garden gate blew in the wind. Before, I thought that was an ogre, laughed Eli. He shot in through the window and landed in a heap as the clock struck 12. In a flash, the feathers vanished. That was amazing, grinned Eli. I'll never be afraid of the dark again now that I know what it's like to be an owl. Very wise, said Albert. Now I must be going. But, Eli said nervously, I know what the scratch was and the creak, but what about the thud I heard? Ah, Albert pretended to preen his feathers. That might have been me. I misjudged my landing and toppled out of an apple tree when I arrived. So there's nothing to be scared of, laughed Eli. Unless I stand under a tree and get hit by a falling owl. Ha ha! Let's see what the lesson is today. Unfamiliar places can seem a little scary because you don't know what to expect. Don't let that spoil the adventure of being away from home. That's true. It's always an adventure. Laughing or thinking of something funny can make you feel less nervous. Make up a silly story about something you're afraid of. It might not seem so frightening then. People are scared of different things, just like Owlbert was afraid of daylight. That's true. Everybody has fears that they're afraid of. I have lots of them. Maybe someday we'll talk about it. I love you boys so much, and I can't wait to talk to you later, and I hope you have a pleasant evening, and I'm going to go eat as soon as Jennifer gets here anyway. Okay. Love you. Bye.